Captain Alex Vance stood at the window of the starship Endeavour, watching the stars outside. The ship moved slowly near an unknown planet. It was quiet in the control room, except for the soft hum of the engines. They had just received a strange signal from space, a ship that didn't belong to any known species. Alex was the leader of the mission. His job was to explore new places and meet new life. The crew was nervous but excited. They had trained for years, but nothing could prepare them for what they were about to see. Suddenly, the signal became clearer. The ship was not just a signal. It was a real vessel, old and silent, floating near the planet. The scanners showed signs of life inside. Alex called his team together. "Prepare the boarding crew. We don't know what's inside that ship. Stay alert and be careful." The crew worked fast. They wore their suits and gathered their gear. Among them was Dr. Lena, the science officer, who was curious about the alien life they might find. As the airlock opened, Alex led the way into the silent ship. It was dark and empty except for one small figure standing in the middle of the room. It was a girl, but unlike any human Alex had ever seen. She was tall and slender, with pale blue skin that shimmered faintly in the dim light. Her eyes were large and dark, full of fear and confusion. Her long silver hair flowed gently as if it moved with the air itself. The girl looked nervous. She kept her head down and didn't say a word. The crew stood still, unsure of what to do next. Alex stepped forward slowly. "Hello," he said softly. "My name is Alex. We come in peace." The girl looked up, her eyes wide with surprise. For a moment she said nothing. Then, in a soft voice, she spoke in a language no one understood. Dr. Lena quickly activated the translator device. It took a few tries, but finally the girl's words became clear. "I am Lyra," she said. "I do not know where I am. Please help me." Alex nodded. "You are safe now, Lyra. We will take care of you." The crew brought Lyra back to the Endeavour. She moved slowly, still nervous and scared. She stayed close to the walls, avoiding the bright lights and loud sounds of the ship. In the days that followed, the crew tried to learn more about Lyra. She ate strange foods and drank clear liquids that seemed to calm her. She did not speak much, but watched everything carefully. Alex found himself watching her too. There was something different about her, not just her appearance, but her energy. She seemed scared of humans, but also curious. One afternoon, Alex sat beside her in the ship's garden. It was a small room filled with plants from Earth, meant to remind the crew of home. Lyra looked at a flower with soft petals and touched it gently. Alex smiled. "Do you like it?" She nodded slowly. "Yes. It is beautiful." Alex tried to find the right words. "We want to learn about you, Lyra. About your people. Why were you on that ship?" Lyra hesitated, then said, "My world is far away. I was sent to find new places, to learn, to meet others." Alex leaned closer, interested. "You were sent? By someone?" She looked down, her fingers fidgeting with the edge of her sleeve. "Yes, it is a mission, but I was afraid. I did not want to leave. I was always nervous." Alex understood. "It is hard to leave home, but you are not alone now." Lyra's eyes met his for the first time without fear. A small smile appeared on her lips. As days passed, Lyra began to speak more. She told stories of her planet, a place of crystal skies and vast oceans. She spoke of her people, who valued trust and respect above all. The crew listened, fascinated. For the first time, Lyra's nervousness seemed to fade, replaced by a quiet strength. But there was still something Alex did not understand. Why had Lyra chosen to come to this lonely place? What was the true purpose of her mission? One evening, as the stars shone outside the ship, Lyra approached Alex quietly. "I have something to tell you," she said softly, her voice steady now. Alex looked at her, waiting. Lyra took a deep breath and said, "I chose you." Alex blinked, surprised. "Chose me?" She nodded. "To trust, to be with, to build the future." Alex's heart raced. He realized that Lyra's mission was more than just exploration. It was about connection, about hope for both their worlds. For the first time, Lyra looked calm and sure. The nervous girl had found someone she believed in, and Alex knew that their story was just beginning. After Lyra's quiet words to Alex, the air inside the Endeavor felt different. The stars outside continued to shine, but inside, something new was growing, a connection that neither of them fully understood yet. Alex sat at the ship's small garden, the plants softly rustling in the gentle airflow. Lyra stood nearby, watching him with calm eyes. Her nervousness had lessened, but a quiet tension still lingered between them, like a delicate thread waiting to be pulled. Alex wanted to speak, to understand everything about Lyra and her choice, but words seemed too weak. Instead, he simply smiled at her and said, "I want to know more about you, about your world." Lyra nodded. She walked over to a console and pressed a few buttons. The screen lit up with images of her planet, vast blue oceans, tall crystal, mountains and skies filled with swirling colors like a living painting. "It is called Arendor," she said softly. "My people live in harmony with nature. We value respect, trust, and the future of all beings." Alex studied the images, feeling the beauty and peace of her home through the pictures. "It sounds amazing. But you left it to come here. That must have been very hard." Lyra looked down, her silver hair brushing against her shoulders. "Yes, I was nervous every moment. Leaving home is not easy for us. But I was chosen for something important." Alex leaned forward, curious. "Chosen? By whom?" "My people," Lyra answered. "We have a tradition. When we find another species, we send one to learn and connect, to build trust, to share life." Alex's eyes searched hers. "And you chose me?" Lyra nodded again. "Yes. I felt your kindness and courage. You are different from others. I trusted you before I knew why." The crew watched quietly from nearby, sensing the importance of the moment. This was not just a mission anymore. It was a meeting of two worlds, fragile, new, and full of hope. Days passed, and Alex and Lyra spent more time together. Words were often not needed. They shared quiet moments and watching the stars, walking in the garden, or simply sitting side by side. Lyra's nervousness slowly gave way to calm. She laughed softly when Alex told stories of Earth's history, and she showed him how to move her hands in simple Arendorian greetings. One night, as the ship traveled through a bright nebula, Lyra opened up more. "My people do not mate as humans do," she explained gently. "We choose carefully. The bond is sacred. It is a promise to protect, to grow, and to create life that honors both species." Alex listened, understanding the weight of her words. "It is more than just biology, then. It is about respect and hope." Lyra smiled. "Yes, and that is why I chose you." Alex felt a new sense of responsibility. He wanted to be worthy of her trust. But he also knew challenges lay ahead. The universe was vast, and not everyone would understand or accept this bond. One morning, the Endeavor received a message from Earth Command. They had learned of Lyra's presence and wanted to speak with Alex immediately. In the command room, Alex faced a panel of officers. They were serious, concerned. "Captain Vance," the lead officer said, "this alien life form could be a threat. We need to study her carefully and decide the next steps." Alex took a deep breath. "She is not a threat. Lyra has chosen to trust us. We must respect her choice." The officers exchanged uneasy looks. "This situation is delicate. We cannot ignore the risks." Alex nodded. "I understand. But breaking the trust could harm everything. Lyra's people sent her for peace and connection. We should meet that with kindness." Back on the ship, Alex returned to find Lyra waiting. She looked worried. "They are afraid," she said softly. "They do not understand our bond." Alex took her hand gently. "I will protect you. We will show them that this is a new beginning, not a threat." Lyra squeezed his hand, her fear slowly melting away. As days turned into weeks, the crew worked to learn from Lyra and share knowledge. Scientists studied her biology and culture, always with care and respect. The crew grew to admire her courage and kindness. Lyra also began to understand humans better. She saw their strengths and weaknesses, their hopes and fears. And she saw something special in Alex, a leader who listened and cared. One evening, under the light of distant stars, Alex and Lyra stood together on the observation deck. The galaxy stretched before them, full of endless possibilities. Lyra looked up, her eyes shining. I was always nervous, but now I feel something new. Hope, Alex smiled back. We will face this future together, no matter what comes. In that moment, the universe seemed a little smaller, a place where two very different lives could find trust, respect, and perhaps something more. And so, the journey continued, with hope guiding their steps into the unknown. Days passed quietly aboard the Endeavor, but beneath the calm surface much was changing. Alex could feel it in the way Lyra moved, in the way the crew looked at them both, and in the steady rhythm of their growing connection. But still, a question hung in the air, the true meaning behind Lyra's choice. One morning, as the soft light of a distant sun filled the ship's garden, Alex found Lyra sitting alone among the plants. She looked calm but thoughtful, her fingers tracing the petals of a small flower. He approached slowly, not wanting to disturb her. Lyra, Alex said gently, there is something I need to understand. Why did you choose me? Lyra looked up, her large eyes meeting his. For a moment she was silent. Then she took a deep breath and began to speak in her soft, clear voice, translated by the device on her collar. In my world, choosing a mate is the most important decision we make. It is not about chance or desire. It is about trust, a trust that binds us beyond words. When I chose you, it was because I saw in you a future for both our peoples. Alex listened closely, his heart pounding. He realized this was more than a simple choice. It was a bond, sacred and powerful. Lyra continued, for centuries our species has grown by selecting partners who can bring strength, courage, and wisdom. We do this not only to survive but to thrive. I was nervous because this choice carries great weight, but I also knew it was right. Alex nodded, feeling the depth of her words. And what does this bond mean for us, for you and me? It means connection, Lyra said softly. It means sharing life in a way that honors both our kinds. It is a promise to protect, to grow, and to create a future together. Alex took her hand in his, understanding the trust she placed in him. I will not let you down, Lyra. We will face this together. As the days passed, Alex and Lyra's bond grew stronger. They spent time learning about each other's worlds, sharing stories, customs, and hopes. The crew watched with awe as the alien girl who was once so nervous now walked with quiet confidence, standing beside Alex as an equal. But their peaceful time was soon interrupted. One afternoon, the ship's communication system crackled to life with a message from a nearby human colony. Captain Vance, the voice said urgently, we have received reports of unusual activity near your location. Some fear the presence of an alien may cause unrest. We need you to bring the alien on board for study. Alex frowned. Lyra is not a danger. She came here for peace. The message continued. We understand, but protocol requires further investigation. Please comply. Alex felt a surge of frustration but kept calm. I will handle this. Back in the ship's command room, Alex gathered his officers. We need to protect Lyra and show them she is not a threat. But we must also be ready for any situation. The officers nodded, preparing for possible challenges. Meanwhile, Lyra sensed the tension growing. She looked to Alex for reassurance. We will face this, he said firmly. Together. That night, Alex and Lyra stood on the observation deck watching the stars. Lyra's voice was soft but clear. My people believe that when two souls connect deeply, they become stronger than fear or doubt. Alex smiled. Then we are strong. The next day, a delegation from the human colony arrived. They were cautious, their faces serious. Alex introduced Lyra with respect, explaining her mission and their growing trust. The delegation listened, but remained wary. One officer stepped forward. "We need to conduct tests to ensure safety." Lyra nodded calmly. "I understand. Trust is earned." The tests were thorough but respectful. Over time, the humans saw no danger, only the quiet strength of Lyra and the bond she shared with Alex. Slowly, the fear began to fade. During this time, Lyra shared more about her people's way of bonding. "We do not rush. Our choice is a beginning, not an end. It requires patience, respect, and understanding." Alex was moved by her words. He realized that this was not just about two individuals, but about two species learning to live together. One evening, as the ship sailed through a calm sector of space, Lyra turned to Alex. "There is more I want to share," she said. "A secret. That explains why I chose you." Alex looked at her, curious and ready. Lyra took a deep breath. "My species has a gift, the ability to connect deeply through a bond that can change both beings. It is rare, sacred, and powerful. I chose you because I believe we can share this gift." Alex felt a mixture of wonder and responsibility. "What does it mean for us?" "It means trust," Lyra said. "It means hope. And it means a future where humans and Arendorians can grow together." Alex nodded slowly. "Then I accept this gift. And I accept you." From that moment, the quiet nervousness Lyra once carried was replaced by a calm strength. The bond between them was no longer just an idea but a living promise. The crew felt it too, a new beginning unfolding before their eyes. And as the stars moved past the Endeavor, Alex knew that this was only the start of a journey that would change everything. The Endeavor glided through space with a calm quietness, but inside, a new energy was growing. Alex and Lyra's connection was no longer a secret. It was a bond that touched everyone on the ship, sparking curiosity, hope, and a deep respect. Lyra's nervousness had faded, replaced by a quiet confidence. She moved through the ship with grace, her presence like a soft light that warmed the hearts of the crew. But for Alex, understanding the full meaning of their bond was still a challenge. One afternoon, Alex found Lyra in the garden again. The plants were bright and green, a small world of life inside the metal ship. Lyra was sitting quietly, eyes closed, breathing slowly as if in a peaceful meditation. Alex sat beside her. "Lyra, I want to understand more about your bond, what it means to you and your people." Lyra opened her eyes and smiled softly. "The bond is more than just a connection. It is a promise to care, protect, and grow together." Alex nodded, listening carefully. "When two are bonded," Lyra continued, "their lives become linked in ways that are both physical and spiritual. It is a gift, but also a responsibility." Alex's mind tried to grasp the depth of her words. "How does it work? What happens?" Lyra looked thoughtful. "It is a slow process. We learn from each other. We share emotions, thoughts, and hopes. It is like two rivers flowing into one, stronger together." Alex reached out and took her hand gently. "I want to be worthy of this bond, to be the person you chose." Lyra squeezed his hand in return. "You already are." As days turned into weeks, Alex and Lyra grew closer. They shared stories, laughter, and silent moments that spoke louder than words. The crew noticed the change. The nervous alien girl had become a symbol of hope and unity, but not everyone understood. One evening, as Alex walked through the ship's corridors, he overheard a conversation between two crew members. "Do you think it's right?" one asked quietly. "This bond, it's so strange. Can we really trust her?" The other shrugged. "I don't know, but if the captain trusts her, maybe we should too." Alex stepped forward. It is normal to have questions, but trust comes from understanding. He invited the crew to a meeting the next day, where Lyra spoke about her culture and the meaning of the bond. Her calm voice and honest words moved many. "I was once nervous," Lyra said, "but I chose this path because I believe in the strength of connection, not just for me, but for all of us." The crew applauded, their doubts beginning to fade. Meanwhile, scientists worked closely with Lyra, learning about her species' biology and customs. They discovered that the bond had physical effects, changes in the brain and body that allowed deep empathy and shared strength. Dr. Lena, the science officer, explained to Alex, "This bond could be a key to better understanding alien life. It shows how trust can be more powerful than fear." Alex smiled. And it all started with a simple choice. As the Endeavor continued its journey, Alex and Lyra's bond faced new tests. One day, an emergency alert sounded. A nearby asteroid field threatened their path. The ship shuddered as it passed through dangerous space. In the control room, Alex worked with the crew to navigate safely. Lyra stood beside him, calm and steady. Her presence gave Alex strength. After the danger passed, Alex said quietly, "We make a good team." Lyra nodded. "Together we are stronger." That night, Alex and Lyra shared a quiet moment on the observation deck, looking out at the endless stars. "I was scared when I first arrived," Lyra admitted. "But now I feel at home." Alex took her hand again. "You are not alone anymore." The bond between them was more than just a promise. It was a new beginning for both species. And as the Endeavor sailed onward, the crew knew that their journey was about more than exploring space. It was about discovering the power of trust, respect, and the courage to choose hope. The Endeavor moved steadily through space, carrying its crew toward unknown destinations. But a new tension had settled on the ship, a tension born not of space's dangers, but of fear from outside. Reports from Earth Command had grown more urgent. Some leaders worried about Lyra's presence. They saw the bond between her and Alex not as a sign of hope, but as a risk, something they did not understand and feared. One morning, Alex stood before his crew in the ship's main hall. The room was quiet as he spoke. "We have a challenge ahead," he said. "Some on Earth see Lyra as a threat. They fear what they don't understand. But we know better. We know trust and respect can build bridges." Crew nodded, but the worry in their eyes was clear. They were loyal to Alex, but they also felt the weight of the unknown. That afternoon, a message arrived from Earth Command. The tone was firm and unyielding. "Captain Vance," the message said, "we order you to bring Lyra to Earth for further study. We must ensure the safety of all." Alex frowned. He knew bringing Lyra to Earth now could break the trust they had built. It could hurt everything. He called a private meeting with Lyra. "They want to take you away," he said softly. "But I will not let that happen unless you agree." Lyra looked into his eyes. "I trust you, Alex, but I do not want to leave the Endeavor. This ship is my home now." Alex made a decision. "Then we will stay in space until we find a way to change their minds." The crew rallied around the decision, but the tension outside their bubble remained. Days later, a small group of officials arrived in a shuttle. They came with orders and questions. Their faces were serious and cold. Alex met them in the ship's command room. "Lyra is not a prisoner," he said, firmly. "She came here to connect, not to cause fear." The lead official replied, "We have protocols, Captain. We cannot ignore the concerns of our people." Lyra stepped forward. "I am not here to harm. I want to share peace and hope." Her voice was calm, but the officials seemed unmoved. That night, Alex and Lyra stood on the observation deck, the stars a silent witness to their struggle. "We must find a way," Alex said. "A way to show them who you really are." Lyra nodded. "Our bond is a sign of hope. If they could see it as I do." Alex reached out, holding her hand. "We will find that way together." The next days were filled with meetings, debates, and planning. Alex worked to communicate the true nature of Lyra's mission to the officials. He invited scientists, diplomats, and crew members to share their experiences. Slowly, some began to understand. They saw how the bond between Alex and Lyra was more than biology. It was a connection of trust and respect, a promise for the future. But others remained doubtful. Fear is a hard thing to overcome. Then, during a routine system check, the ship was hit by a sudden power surge. Alarms blared as systems flickered and lights dimmed. Alex and the crew rushed to fix the problem. Lyra stayed calm, helping wherever she could. In the control room, Alex worked with Dr. Lena to stabilize the ship. "We can't lose control now," Alex said, sweat on his brow. Lyra placed a steady hand on his shoulder. "We are stronger together." With her support, Alex found the strength to focus. The power returned and the ship steadied. The crew cheered, relief washing over them. That event changed something. The officials watching saw how the bond between Alex and Lyra gave strength to the whole crew. Afterward, a meeting was held in the ship's hall. Alex stood before the group and spoke from his heart. "Fear can divide us, but understanding can unite us. Lyra's choice is not a threat. It is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to be better." Slowly, the officials nodded. Some smiles appeared. The path was not easy, but hope was alive. Lyra looked at Alex, gratitude shining in her eyes. "Thank you for standing with me." Alex smiled back. "We stand together." The Endeavor continued its journey, not just through space, but through the challenges of trust and acceptance. Alex and Lyra's bond became a symbol, a reminder that courage and respect could overcome fear. And as the stars shone outside the ship, the crew knew that their greatest challenge was not in the vast universe, but in opening hearts and minds. Their journey had only just begun. The stars outside the Endeavor sparkled like tiny diamonds, lighting the path ahead for the ship and its crew. Inside, a different kind of light was growing, a light of hope, trust, and unity. Alex stood in the ship's garden, watching Lyra carefully tend to a small plant. Her delicate fingers moved gently, showing care and patience. It was hard to believe that the nervous alien girl who had arrived weeks ago was now so calm and confident. "We have come a long way," Alex said quietly, stepping beside her. Lyra smiled softly. "Yes, I feel stronger. Not just because of the bond we share, but because of all of you." Alex looked around at the crew. They were no longer strangers to her. They had become friends, protectors, and family. "Your people are amazing, Lyra," he said. "You teach us about trust and respect in ways we never imagined." Lyra nodded. "And humans have taught me about courage and hope. Together we are more than we were alone." Their words were interrupted by a message from Earth Command. This time it was different, a message of support. "Captain Vance," the voice said warmly, "we have reviewed your reports. We see the bond between you and Lyra as a new step for humanity. We offer our full support for your mission." Alex felt a wave of relief and pride. The hard work was paying off, but the journey was not yet over. As the Endeavor continued toward new worlds, Alex and Lyra faced challenges that tested their bond and their crew. One day, the ship entered a dense asteroid field. Rocks of all sizes surrounded them, moving slowly but dangerously. The crew worked quickly to navigate the maze. Alex and Lyra stood side by side in the control room, their hands touching lightly for strength. "Trust the ship," Alex said calmly. "Trust each other," Lyra smiled. "And trust ourselves." The Endeavor moved carefully, weaving between the asteroids. The tension was high, but the crew's teamwork was strong. Suddenly, a large asteroid shifted, blocking their path. The ship shuddered as it brushed against the rock. Alex quickly took control, directing the engines to push forward with power. Lyra's voice was steady. "We can do this." With effort and skill, the Endeavor broke free and cleared the field. The crew cheered, their spirits lifted. Later, Alex and Lyra gathered with the team to celebrate their success. The mood was joyful. full of laughter and stories. Dr. Lena raised a glass. To trust, teamwork, and new friends. Everyone joined in, the bonds between them stronger than ever, but it was more than just the crew that was growing closer. Alex and Lyra's bond deepened with each passing day. They spent evenings sharing dreams and hopes under the stars, learning from each other's worlds and cultures. Lyra taught Alex the songs of her people, soft, melodic sounds that told stories. Of their history, Alex shared Earth's music, its rhythms and beats that spoke of life's joy and struggle. Their differences became strengths, weaving together like threads in a tapestry. One quiet night, Lyra looked at Alex and said, "I feel something new, a hope that goes beyond me, a hope for all of us." Alex smiled. "That hope is real, because we choose it every day." The Endeavor became a symbol, a ship carrying more than explorers. It carried the future of two species united by trust and respect. As they traveled further into the unknown, Alex and Lyra knew their bond was not just personal, it was a message to the universe, a message that fear could be overcome, that trust could be built, and that together, different worlds could grow stronger. The stars continued to shine, guiding them onward, and with every step forward, humanity's true strength showed, not in weapons or technology, but in the courage to reach out, to understand, and to connect. The Endeavor drifted gently through the calm void of space, stars stretching endlessly in every direction. After months of journeying together, Alex and Lyra had grown inseparable, their bond a beacon of hope for both humans and Arendorians alike. But this was only the beginning of something much greater. In the ship's garden, where earth plants and Arendorian flowers grew side by side, Alex stood watching Lyra as she tended the blossoms. The light caught her silver hair, making it shine like the stars themselves. "Lyra," Alex said softly, "we have come so far, but I believe the real journey begins now." Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting the promise of the future. "Yes, we have built trust here, but the universe is wide. Our mission is to carry this trust beyond the Endeavor, to share it with others." Alex nodded. "There will be challenges, but together we can face anything." Their quiet moment was interrupted by a message from Earth Command. This time it was an invitation, a call to return to Earth as ambassadors of peace and unity. "We want the world to know your story," the message said. "Your bond is a symbol of what humanity can achieve." Alex and Lyra exchanged glances. The thought of returning to Earth filled them with both excitement and nervousness. That evening, the crew gathered in the main hall. Alex addressed them with pride. "We have done something incredible here, not just for ourselves but for all of humanity and beyond. Our journey does not end with exploration. It begins with connection." Lyra stepped forward. "I was once afraid, but with your help, I have learned that fear can be overcome by understanding. Together we can create a future where different worlds live in peace." The crew cheered, their spirits lifted. Before the journey back, Alex and Lyra prepared carefully. They studied Earth's cultures, laws, and customs to ensure their return would be welcomed and respected. The day finally came. The Endeavor entered Earth's orbit, greeted by ships from many nations. Cameras and reporters waited to capture the moment. Alex and Lyra stood side by side on the landing platform, their hands intertwined. The crowd watched in silence, then erupted in applause. Leaders from Earth's governments stepped forward, welcoming Lyra as a guest and Alex as a hero. Together, they spoke of hope, trust, and unity. Lyra addressed the crowd, her voice clear and strong. "I chose to come here because I saw kindness and courage in humanity. Our bond is not just between me and Alex, it is between all of us. Promise that we will protect each other, learn from each other, and grow together." Her words touched hearts around the world. In the weeks that followed, Lyra and Alex worked to build bridges between their species. They helped create new programs for cultural exchange, scientific cooperation, and peaceful exploration. The bond between them became a symbol, a living proof that even the most different beings could find trust and friendship. But it was not always easy. Some still feared change. Some doubted the future. Alex and Lyra faced these challenges with patience and courage. One night, standing under Earth's sky filled with stars, Lyra said quietly, "Our journey will never truly end. But every step forward makes the future brighter." Alex smiled. "And with you by my side, I believe anything is possible." Together they looked up at the stars, reminded that in the vast universe, connection was the greatest power of all. The story of the alien girl who was once nervous and the human who she chose became a legend. A story told across worlds about trust, courage, and the strength to choose hope. And as new ships prepared to leave Earth, carrying explorers to new worlds, Alex and Lyra's bond shone as a guiding light for all who dared to dream. The future was wide open, and humanity was ready.